Hey Hatchlings, how's your day going? I hope you're feeling well today. I recently did a video where I talked about keeping a journal and how long I've been keeping my different journals, but because it was a part of a top 10 list, I didn't really get a chance to go into detail on why I keep a journal and how I go about it. So I decided to take a deeper dive into journaling so everyone who may be interested or curious in starting can have a better idea of what journaling is all about and how to get started. So how exactly did I get into keeping a journal myself? Well, my journal experience started in 2004 when I was at a birthday party and won a small diary book in one of the party games. I still write in that book to this day as I keep it as a memory book. All major events, changes in my life, strong emotions are recorded in that book for almost 2 decades of my life. It's not an everyday thing. I use it only for major things going on. That way I can go back and look at the things that I felt most strongly about in my past and reflect on those things that shaped my life and whether those things are still a part of my life. I really enjoy this type of journaling. Now that's what launched my original love for journaling. When I pull the book open and put the pen to paper and express. It's not about being perfect or error-free or well-written. It's just about emotions and recording those emotions. I didn't even realize why I enjoyed journaling until I decided to look into the benefits of journaling itself. I wasn't completely surprised to learn that journaling can be an excellent tool for identifying negative thoughts and also creating an opportunity for positive self-talk. By recording an in-moment account of your problems, fears, and concerns, you can better prioritize your thoughts and deal with things appropriately. Journaling is a great way to identify triggers too, which allows you to build towards overcoming your mental health struggles in a positive and constructive way. These were all things I liked about journaling without even realizing I was benefiting from keeping a journal in this way. While I have been keeping a memory book for years, it wasn't until 2013 that I first started keeping a daily journal. This idea was first introduced to me in therapy, where I was given a journaling book to write in as often as possible how I was feeling and what work I was doing towards my goals in therapy. Now, while I'm pretty open about the fact that there was a time in my life that I needed therapy, and I encourage others who are truly struggling with their mental health to seek the help that they need, I'm not going to go into detail as to what I was working through in therapy. It doesn't pertain to the topic of this video, but maybe I'll do a video on my experience with therapy sometime down the road in the case that there are people out there that feel they need help but aren't sure what they're getting into. I feel like that would be a difficult video to do, but I would definitely try my best to share my experience if I felt it would help people. But getting back to journaling now, doing a daily journal for my therapy sessions made me realize that getting your feelings out is a really important step in dealing with them as a whole. While I've come to find many creative ways of expressing myself, such as YouTube or through my artwork, journaling gives me a unique ability to go back and see the thoughts on something from a past perspective. How you felt about something a week ago, 6 months ago, 4 years ago, you are constantly changing and growing as a person. While we may be struggling with the same challenges for a long time, how we deal with them changes all the time. The ability to go back and see how something affected us in the past versus how we're dealing with it now is a great self-reflection process. Coming to terms with past demons and realizing something that really bothered us a few months ago isn't even a problem anymore is really great. In essence, a journal is meant to keep a collection of your thoughts, observations, and ideas while putting what's happening each day into writing. By doing this, you are able to better remember what you did, what you thought, and what is happening, and what happened when you were younger. There are many things as I get older that I simply can't remember anymore. However, my memory book brings those memories back in full color for me each time I sit down with the book. It shows me an account of places that I've been and many of the challenges that I've faced and overcome in nearly nearly 2 decades. That's a lot of time. My therapy journal, on the other hand, is an account of the work that I did in therapy. While it's great to reflect on those thoughts while I'm struggling with those same old feelings, the day I finished therapy was the last entry that I put in the journal. That journal and the journey that it recorded are over, and personally, I feel that using that book again would be like having two completely different stories in the same book. It just wouldn't make any sense, really. The journal I keep more on a regular basis isn't really fancy at all. In fact, you probably wouldn't even notice it in my room if you were looking for something like that. It's just a large composition book with a nice cover. Journals don't really need to be expensive at all. In fact, they can hold a lot of private thoughts, and you may want to use something that doesn't look super special, so curious people are less likely to pick it up for a read. While some of these come with locks, sometimes a locked journal is more likely to be invaded versus an unlocked one. Personally, I suggest something with at least 100 pages for your first journaling experience. Soft or hardcover is fine. You don't need to write anything on the front if you don't want to. If the journal already has a nice design on it, that's great. Don't go too cheap with an exercise book either, as this is something that's special to you and you should regard it as such. If you're like me and you associate colors with emotions, you may want to get some colored pens as well. By writing your journal in many different colors, you can reflect on those choices later, or in the moment, as to why you chose a certain color to represent those words on that specific day. Not all journalers will make this particular suggestion, as not everyone feels colors and emotions have a connection, but I personally do, and if there are other people out there like me, I want them to try this out to see where it leads them on their journey. Personally, I think it's great. So some people keep digital journals, and I'm sure that works for some people, as you never run out of pages or ink and everything is in one place, the words never fade away, and maybe you even feel like your words are safer in a digital space. While all those things are valid and I want people to do what works for them, I personally suggest you journal handwritten, simply because your journal is ever so personal, and while the words are the same, there are some things you cannot do digitally compared to a handwritten piece. I personally have tried both, and I felt a stronger connection to the words in my handwriting versus my typing. There are things you can do in writing that you simply cannot do in a digital space, like adding little doodles or maybe stickers. Again, I recommend doing whatever feels most comfortable to you, but certainly give handwriting a go if you haven't in the past. The first thing people tend to ask me when I mention that I do journaling on a regular basis is, what do you write about every single day? This is something new journalers struggle with, and I personally understand why. Looking at that blank page and wondering how to fill it. Yeah, we all have that issue starting out, trust me. But there are many things that happen to us each and every day that we can account in a daily journal. For example, you could start out your journal with how you're feeling for that day. Whether you're tired from being out shopping or going to school or maybe college. Maybe there's a big test coming up that you have to study for. Maybe something happened at work today that was really difficult to solve, but you got through it. Remember, journaling is about small things. No one has big news every single day, but we all have personal victories and failures that we can record. After that, maybe you can list a few things that you're thankful for from that day. I know that sounds hard at first, but it actually gets pretty easy once you start exercising your mind with journaling. For example, on the day that I wrote this script, I was thankful for the time that my boss took from her day to chat with me one-on-one after her shift was over, to encourage me and listen to my struggles. It was something small, and she didn't really have to do it, but she did, and it made me feel a lot better. You'll learn by recording these little blessings that your happiness isn't just about the big events in your life. It comes from the little acts of kindness as well. You can also use your daily entry to keep track of progress in your goals, whether it be your daily fitness goals like walking every day, or something big like saving money for a car. Keeping track of how these things are going helps you see progress. You may realize that you aren't sitting still as you thought, and if you are, you can use the journal to brainstorm new ways to work towards your goals. Your journal isn't just about the things that already happened. It's also about where you're going and how you plan to get there. Use it to plan out the steps and reach your goals through a long-term process. Another totally valid option for your journal is using it to record the things that you've learned from day to day. Did you learn a new editing technique for your YouTube videos? Write it down. Found a cool rock on your walk with your dog? That is totally worthy of a place in your journal. Don't be scared to keep track of the smallest of your victories. No one's life is an action movie. And when we start learning to appreciate the small things happening to us every day, we open our eyes to new forms of happiness that we can strengthen over time. What I'm getting at is that there is literally no wrong way to journal. It's yours, and you can do whatever you want with those pages. It's for your eyes only anyway, so why does it matter if it's not exciting? It's a journal. It's your self-reflection, and yours to look back on whenever you like. Heck, once you turn that page, you don't ever have to go back. That's totally valid too. If you want to treat a journal as an outlet where you leave your feelings once and for all, that's a completely valid way of doing this. There are journal entries I never looked back on because what I wrote was very painful and I just needed to leave those feelings somewhere. This is where some people get the impression that journaling can have a negative side to it. Going back to something painful and reading those raw emotions can have a most certainly hurtful effect. However, I think that personal growth depends on us being able to address old pain and compare how we're dealing with it now versus then. Journaling has many different benefits, from keeping our memories sharp to helping people deal with stress, depression, anxiety. Journaling is also known to improve comprehension and deepen our sense of self, increasing happiness, and so much more. I really can't go over every single thing journaling can help people with in a single video. There is just so much to talk about when it comes to this journey and getting started. I feel I've covered the basics, and I'm hopeful that everyone who sees this video will understand journaling a little better and why so many of us are committed to it each and every day. Thanks for coming for another visit here in the Cave, Hatchlings. I'm really happy that you're here once again to check out another video. I had some interest shown in this topic from a recent video, and I didn't even realize how big of a topic this actually is. My goodness. I'd like to know how many of you are currently keeping journals, and if you are, if you enjoy it or not. And of course, if you're new to journaling or you plan to get started, I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions, be sure to ask in the comments below. I'm here to help you out. As always, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all next time.